Hi there, and welcome to this lesson. And this lesson we'll be doing basic algebra, okay? And on the basic algebra, we'll be learning the expansion of algebraic expressions, okay? And at this point, I remind you to set the video to play in 1080p HD, okay? You can do so via the settings icon at the bottom right. And if you have any issues at all as the lesson progresses, if you have any issues at all, please feel free to get in touch, okay? We're always here, we're always available to help. And you can do so via the course dashboard. So let's jump right into the lesson. So expansion of algebraic expressions. Now, what is expansion? Okay, what is expansion? Basically, we're doing algebra. So what is expansion in algebra? Um, Here's something to consider. Now, consider the figure below. Okay, I have this rectangle. Okay, and I'm going to split this rectangle like this. Let's say this is a plot of land. Okay, so this rectangle represents a plot of land. All right, and basically this land is split into, or let's say farmland, and it's split into at that point there where we have a line there. Okay, so and then you've been asked to calculate the area of this figure. Okay, area of this piece of land, and you've been told that the breadth here is a, okay, is a meters long, for example, and then this length here is b, okay, and this length here is c. Now, if you were asked to calculate the area of this, there are two ways you can approach this, okay? And the more common one would be to add b plus c, okay? When you add them together, you get the length, all right? And then you multiply that by the breadth, okay? So basically, we have a multiplying the sum of b and c, okay? Now, another way you can go about this is you can actually find the area of the small portion, that's a times b, then find the area of the larger portion, a times c, and add your answers together. So you have ab plus ac. Okay, now this is basically you're solving for the area of the farmland, and this is the two ways you're gonna approach this. Okay, and they're pretty much the same. You'd eventually end up with the same answer. Okay, so how can we relate this to algebra? It simply implies that the first answer you got, a multiplying b plus c, equals the second one, ab plus ac. Okay, and basically this is the idea we're trying to establish in this lesson. Expansion in algebra, it mainly involves removing brackets. Okay, when you have brackets in algebra, how do you go about expanding out, okay, multiplying out to eliminate the brackets? Okay, for example, you can have an expression like this, a multiplying open bracket b plus c, okay, and you asked to expand this, okay, you'd expand it and your answer would be ab plus ac. So how exactly would you go about doing that? It's very simple. You simply go a multiplying b, okay, will give you ab, and then you go a multiplying c, and that would give you ac. It's as simple as straightforward as that. Basically, you have a outside, you take a multiplying b first, ab, and then a multiplying plus c, that's plus ac. Okay, so that's it. There really isn't much else to learn as regards expansion. That's the idea. Okay, you have a bracket, and how do you go about eliminating said bracket? Okay, so let's go ahead and solve a few examples. Okay, it does get a bit more complicated than that, but yeah, let's find out. So example one, and example one says simplify. So we have brackets here. We have simplify 2x multiplying in the bracket 3a minus 4b squared. Okay, and to solve this, actually very easy. Okay, so we have step one, we have 2x multiplying 3a minus 4b squared. So multiply 2x and 3a, and what you have is 6ax. Okay, remember when you're writing algebra, it's very important that you write the letters in alphabetical order. Okay, it just makes your work, you don't write 6xa. Okay, 6ax just seems more reasonable. Okay, so 6, the first thing you do is you multiply 2 and 3, okay, you get your whole number 6, and then you multiply your variables x and a, you get 6ax. Now what about minus 4b squared? Remember, always work with your signs, okay? You should never, don't do away with your signs. Some students do that for some reason, but remember your signs, okay? So we have minus 4b squared. The minus is very important. If you put a plus there, you get 0. So minus 4b squared. The first thing we do is we multiply 2 and minus 4, okay, because we're multiplying by 2x. We go 2 times minus 4, we get minus 8, okay, minus 8, okay, and then we have x and b squared, and what we end up with is minus 8b squared x. Okay, and that is your answer. You really can't do anything at this point. Okay, there's no further simplification because we do not have like variables. Okay, and yeah, that's it. Very simple, very straightforward. There really isn't much to it. So let's try another example. Now, example 2. And example 2 says simplify 16xy squared minus 4xy multiplying 3x plus 5y. Okay, so it's getting a bit more complicated, but it's still the same idea. Okay, and going to we're going to go ahead and solve that. All right, so we have 16xy squared minus 4xy multiplying 3x plus 5y. So we have 16xy squared on the end there. All right, and what we're going to do is we're simply going to multiply 4 minus 4xy. Okay, we're simply going to multiply minus 4xy by 3x and 5y. Okay, and plus 5y. So first thing we do there, we have minus 4xy times 3x. Okay, you multiply the two numbers, and basically you have minus 12. Okay, and then you start multiplying the variables. You have x, y, and x. Okay, and what you end up with is x squared y. Okay, you have two x's, x squared, that's x times x squared, and then you have the y. So what you have here is minus 12x squared y. Okay, and then we're going to do the next one, the next term we have there. So we have minus 4xy, the same minus 4xy multiplying 5y. And what we have is we have minus 4 multiplying 5, you have minus 20. Okay, and then you multiply the variables, you have x, y, and another y, so two y's, i.e. y squared. What you end up with is minus 20 xy squared. Okay, and at this point, what can we do? Yes, we do have like terms here. Okay, we have terms with variables that are exactly alike because we have 16xy squared and we have minus 20xy squared. So we simply bring these two together. Okay, and then we write minus 12x squared y. Okay, so what do we want to do now? Okay, so we can solve that out. 16xy squared minus 20xy squared will give us minus 4xy squared, and then we bring minus 12x squared y, and that is the end. Very simple, very straightforward. There really isn't much you can do any further from there, okay, because we do not have any like terms left, so we leave our answer as it is. Okay, so let's try another example, example 3, and it gets even more complicated here. Okay, but not too complicated, really. It's really nothing we can't handle. So we have simplify. Now we have two brackets multiplying each other. 3x minus 5 in one bracket multiplying 2x plus 6 in another bracket. Have you got any idea as to how we can go about solving this? Let's find out. So step 1, the first thing we want to do here is we have one bracket 3x minus 5 multiplying another bracket 2x plus 6. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you go about doing this. Now, you consider the first bracket, okay, 3x minus 5, and you take out 3x. Okay, so you take out 3x, and I'm going to multiply 3x by 2x plus 6. Okay, so take the first term in the first bracket and multiply it by the other bracket. Okay, so 3x, basically we want to expand 3x minus 5 multiplying 2x plus 6. What we simply do is we multiply 3x by 2x plus 6, then we multiply minus 5 by 2x plus 6. Okay, so 3x times 2x plus 6 minus 5 times 2x plus 6. Very simple, really nothing there. Now, what do we want to do next? Step 2. Now, basically, we have that, and we want to expand this, and we pretty much just expand as we've been doing. So we have 3x multiplying 2x plus 6, and that would give us 6x squared plus 18x. Okay, when you multiply 3x and 6, and then we want to multiply with minus 5. Okay, so we have minus 10x minus 30. Okay, I believe you would agree with me on that. Okay, so let's move on. What do we want to do next? Okay, we want to simplify. Are there any like terms there? Yes, we do have some like terms there. We have 18x and minus 10x. We just solve that out. 18x minus 10x is 8x. So we end up with an answer 6x squared plus 8x minus 30. And that's it. There really isn't much to it. Okay, so let's do one last example. Okay, I told you expansion is really easy. Okay, so let's do one more example. Example 4. And example 4 says evaluate 4 multiplying x plus 2y multiplying 3x minus y. Okay, so we do have two brackets multiplying each other. There's just one small difference. We're multiplying the whole thing by a number. Okay, so how do we go about doing this? Very simple. The first thing we want to do is we want to multiply 4 by x plus 2y. Okay, so when you expand 4 by x plus 4 multiplying x by plus 2y, you have 4x, i.e. 4 times x, plus 4 times 2y, 8y. Okay, and then you simply multiply this by 3x minus y, and that's pretty much the only difference that the number 4 out there makes. Just multiply 4 by the bracket there, okay, the first bracket there, and from that point on you're good to go. Okay, so and then step 2, let's just do stuff that we're familiar with. And step 2, you have your brackets there, and basically you say 4x multiplying 3x minus y plus 8y multiplying 3x minus y. Okay, that's step 2. And then step 3, next thing we want to do is we want to just expand that out, and basically if you expand you keep having this. Okay, and yeah, that is how you go about doing expansion in algebra. Okay, and very simple. There really isn't much to it. Expansion is actually really easy, and in the next lesson we're talking about something more interesting. Okay, because when we're simplifying terms, we expand them. Okay, and sometimes we usually require to do the reverse. Okay, so I'd basically give you your answer. For example, I'd give you your answer here, and I'd basically tell you to reverse the expansion process, and you end up with the numbers with all the brackets and all, and that's called factorization. Okay, and it's actually very simple. Just like expansion, we're simply going to be reversing expansion. Okay, and we would be doing that in the next lesson. Okay, so yeah, bye for now.